All right, chosen ones, welcome back to another episode on Autonicus Aurelius Motivates. Getting ready to move out again today. It's a nice day. Had to do a few things this morning, but it's March 22nd, 2026, Monday. And about to head out to the trail, man. Go ahead and get some steps in today. The weekend went by pretty fast and everything. But here we are again, the beginning of the week. And just going to try to make it through again, man, Still pushing through every day. The battle continues out here in this matrix. We all in. They got us all in. Right, chosen one? But we don't have no other choice. We just got to keep going, right? So let's go, man. Chosen one. You remember how it was back then when God first opened your eyes to everything. You remember how it was back then. For me personally, I think I was like 28 years old or maybe 29. Anyway, you remember how it was. You was fed up. You was done with the BS, man. You was like, man, I'm not having it no more, man. I can't do this. I can't be constantly giving all my money to the system, to the courts and everything. I can't be constantly always getting hemmed up, catching another charge, getting pulled over, having something happen to me that I don't need to be happening in my life no more. And so you decided, you made the decision finally. You was going to give your life to God, to the Most High. Little did you know when you did that, what you was about to be up against. Thinking back about all this now this morning, I'm just thinking about it, man. So you started things first slowly, like denying yourself certain things. And it was hard, man. You put the weed down, It was something you was used to doing every morning, waking up, lighting up, going throughout the day, thinking that was what was gonna make your day, And the whole time, it wasn't never doing nothing really for you. Because it was illegal for one thing. For another thing, it always had you sedated, sleepy all the time, couldn't perform right on the job. You was always, eating too much with the munchies and all of that. And it never agreed with you anyway. So you put that down. You denied yourself that. Then you started denying other things. You started denying yourself the pleasures of alcohol and stuff like that at parties. You opted for tea or water or soda instead. And people started looking at you like you was crazy. Especially the people who you grew up with, who were used to that. And that's what they took pleasure in. And those were the first things you started out doing. denying yourself. Those were the first things. You started denying yourself, and then you picked up your cross and you went to war in the spiritual realm. And you you decided you was gonna do what you was gonna do. You had it all figured out. So you started using your gift that you had in a positive manner, rather than the way you had always been doing it before with everyone else and with what the whole crowd was down with and all of that. And you decided you was going to do something different for God. You was going to go hard for God, right? Little did you know, man, what you was in store for when you made that decision. When you made that decision, little did you know, the kingdom of darkness had you marked from that very moment, man. And they still do to this very day. Because you were awakened and you saw what other people could not see. And the most frustrating part about it all, chosen one, you already know, was that when you started out, it was like you was a ghost. Nobody could see you. Nobody even wanted to see you, let alone acknowledge you. But the thing was that you saw the problem of society. You recognized the problem that was facing humanity and society. It was a big problem that you saw. But the solution to the problem in your mind was that you was gonna be this soldier of God and, go out here and, conquer the world. You know what I mean? So you had this vision, man. You was like, I'm going out and I'm going to do this the right way. I'm going to do this the way it needs to be done. Little did you know what you was getting yourself into. Because you had no idea of the strength of your adversary. You see, you had no idea. You had no real full understanding of the strength of your adversary. You underestimated the power of your enemy when you first went in. Because, see, in my case, I was still a young man, and in many of your cases, chosen ones, you was young at the time too when God revealed the truth to you. And it was very frustrating because for all of the chosen ones, once you know the truth, you can't, like I said, unsee the truth. You cannot unsee the truth. And I've done explained to y'all before in previous videos about everything that I went through personally that revealed the truth to me through my quest to seek the truth and to seek God's face. In my quest, that carried me through a lot of different religious organizations because I knew I wasn't going back to the Mormons where I came from, where I found out the stuff about them. I wasn't going back to that because I had already did all my research and everything, and I found out about how the prophet they believed in was false and all of that, and he was, he was a 33rd degree Freemason and all of that, and I found out like all about the polygamy and everything. and all of that going on. So I wasn't going back to that. So then I started out in my quest seeking for God. Because I had to, because I also wasn't going back to the streets. I wasn't going back to the block, man. I wasn't going back, and I wasn't gonna slang in the streets. I wasn't gonna do that like so many other turn to. And not to knock anybody who had to turn to those type of things, man. I understand, you know, a lot of y'all had to turn that route and go that route, man. You know, just because you had to do what you had to do to make ends meet, man. We've all been there, man. The struggle is real. But you wasn't about to do none of that, though, chosen one. Because like I said before, you're like none other. There's none other like you. So you were in this fight. You were in this fight because you had to fight for your life, for your livelihood. Not only for yours, but really for everyone, man. Everyone around you. You know, and it was a task that you set out to do that you had no idea what you was getting yourself into when you started that. Some of you still don't even know what you got yourself into. You still don't even to this very day. But you was brought here for a reason, man. You was put here for a reason. You've been put here right now, in this season, right now, to do something God is going to do with you. And the hardest part about it is, man, is that not knowing what is next. Not knowing how you're going to make it through the next day, or where the resources are going to come from, where the people are going to come from. Because you already know wasn't nobody around you in your immediate vicinity who was ever going to be a part of that. They wasn't never going to be a part of it, man. You know? And you know the reason why. Because you was there. You know how hard it is to break free, man. You know what it takes, the sacrifices it takes to let go of those things you let go of, to deny yourself, to deny your flesh. To deny your lusts of the eye. All of this just to stand for the truth, man. To be the truth. To do something honorable. Something noble, man. Something that brings lasting value. Not something that's just here today and gone tomorrow. You know, something like that has deep intrinsic value. This is what the world is lacking. This is what society is lacking, and you knew it back then. But little did you know, man, what you was getting yourself into. You still don't even know. You don't even comprehend it, man. You don't, chosen one. All you know is you get up every day. You pray. You've been doing that. And then you just see all these things happening around you that don't even make no sense. And you try to make sense out of it. Then you try to make sense out of your circumstances. And then you try to find a way to be grateful anyway and to look on the bright side of things in the midst of all that. And that's hard, man. That's hard to do, chosen one. But you're the only one who can do it, though. Because like I said, there's none other like you, man. There's not. But anyway, man, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right there real quick because I've arrived at my destination here. And I'm going to get out. We're going to get these steps in today. We're going to discuss this topic, man, because, you know, chosen one, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this because you remember what it was like back then. You still remember. See? Just like it was yesterday. You still remember. But you didn't know. You had no idea back then what you was getting yourself into. All right? So hold up 1 second. I'm going to get my bag, get my stuff, and then we're going to go ahead and get this walk in, all right? And have a discussion. So I'll be right back with you in just a minute. Hold up. All right, chosen one. So I'm back now. And we about to go ahead and get it in, man. And just like I was saying before I got out the car, man, we was going to have a discussion about this, right? Because you didn't know what you was getting yourself into back then. You had no idea, man. And like I said, you didn't know and understand the power of your foe or your foes. And you had no idea how the enemy could come through those closest to you. You didn't really understand fully about the spiritual warfare. You didn't have a full understanding about it. I mean, you had things that were revealed to you by others and by your experiences and stuff like that, which showed you about organizations and stuff, which I've already previously discussed here, that came to you later in your walk when you was going through the different denominations and stuff like that. Like I said, during all this time was when you were seeking his face, right? And it was when you were sick and tired of being sick and tired. It was like, you know, you was like, you had pretty much at that point came to the end of yourself, right? You had said, well, I'm not going back there, but then I'm not going back there either. I'm not going back with those people, but I'm not going back with these people either, man. Because you saw that it was all like a circus, man. It was all like a circus full of clowns and actors, man, playing their roles. And you knew the only place it was going to lead you was two places, man. And neither one of them was good. Either prison, like I said before, or the cemetery. One or the other. Because you had saw so many others, man, follow the crowd. And you saw them think they was gonna do this and think they was gonna do that and make it big and everything like that. And you saw them. You saw what happened to them. And you knew it was all part of the enemy's strategy to drag so many down and make them another statistic. And you knew you wasn't going to let that happen to you. Also, well, really, it was the Most High. He was the one who wasn't going to let that happen to you, because he knew you from the very beginning. See, he knew you the whole time. He knew the choices you was going to make before you even made them. Because he's the Alpha and the Omega, man, the beginning and the end. So he knows everything. He knows it all. He knows all of this that's happening right now. He saw all of this before it even happened. He's seen it all happen, man. I'm reminded of like, there was a part where it was in, and I'm gonna find that verse and probably put it up on the screen later, but it was in the New Testament where during his ministry, you know, Jesus had told one of the men who he saw, he said, "I seen you under that tree there. I saw you standing there." And then also the woman at the well, he told her exactly how many other men she had been with. So he knew it all. He knows it all. He even told one of the men where to go to get the colt and untie it from the tree. Told the man right where to go and told him to take it and tell the owner that the Lord is in need of that. And that was the same one I think he rode, where they laid the palms down for him to ride on. He rode on a donkey. Anyway, man, he knows everything, man. He knows it all. And he knows every hair on top of your head, chosen one. So, you know, when you started this whole thing that you started, this was way back then, when you was much younger, when you was younger. You was all on fire for him and for your mission, man, for what you was gonna do, right? Little did you know what you was getting yourself into, man. You never knew how powerful your enemy was and how many agents of darkness he was gonna send up against you, what you was gonna have to endure. And you didn't know the things that was gonna happen, the events that was gonna take place during this process of what you were seeking to do. Because the kingdom of darkness recognized you immediately, and they went to work. They went to work against you, and they've been working against you ever since, because they know you know about them, and they know that they knew from the very beginning that if you was to ever reach your full potential, how that would totally annihilate their whole plan to keep everyone asleep. Because if a million other soldiers rose up like you and did the same things you did and became on fire the way you were, it would completely bankrupt them. Because you know how they fund most of their operations. We already know, Chosen One. It's through their most powerful weapons, man. The drugs, man. The things that are, destroying so many people. Alcohol. The adultery, fornication, the things like that. The things that divide families, right? The things that has brought us to this point to where we are. The things that have pressed on and removed the pillars that hold up society, right? It's toppled those pillars that hold up society. It's messed with them, it's tampered with them. This is the reason why, ever since way back in the day, it's always been the same, man. And, all we have now is a modern day form of how history repeated itself way back then in the Word. Way back from when Moses came down or went up onto the mountain. And what did the people do while he was up there? They started building golden calves and stuff like that, and worshiping idols again, and doing the same thing again. Indulging in the sexual acts and the wickedness and the evil and stuff like that, and turning themselves away from the truth and from obeying what they knew they had, what they should have been doing. And so, this is what was just another repeat of the same thing that happened back then. It's happening right now. And this has just been the way history has repeated itself. This is the reason why he had to come to show us and to hang and die and bleed for our sins, man. Because without that, I wouldn't have a chance, you wouldn't have a chance, none of us would have a chance. Because we all been there, man. We've all indulged in it, man. But you see where this has brought us all to, man. Because see, the thing is that once the line has been crossed and the pillars of society have been tampered with, then you get all manner of everything you see out here. Rainbow flags and all of that. You know, the alphabet community. And it goes into even darker realms, man. It gets really sick and twisted, man. The whole PDF files and all of that. And then it goes into even darker stuff, man, with the animals and stuff like that. God said in his word, if anybody did that kind of thing with animals and stuff, they were to die, they were to be executed. And so you see, there's no ends to this stuff, man. It's like once you cross that line, once humanity crossed that line, man, that's what brought us to this point, man. So anyway, you've seen all of that. You understand all of that. But back then, you wasn't aware that that was all going to be coming about. You wasn't fully aware, like you had heard tell about it, you know, and stuff like that. But you wasn't fully aware that that was all going to come about. A lot of the other things you were not fully aware that was going to come about with the way people would hate you so fiercely. But you should have known, because the word said that he said that if anyone followed him, they would hate them, they would be hated. So you didn't know how much hatred you was going to experience in your hometown. You didn't know how much, how strong the opposition was going to be. You didn't really understand what you were getting yourself into, like I said, chosen one. So you came through this walk, man, and you're still going through it right now, where you had a long road ahead of you, and you started making headway. You started making progress. You started making impact. You started making that impact. You was putting dents in the system, man. You was putting dents in the matrix. Like you was doing your thing back then. Like at one time, you was probably at your strongest point, you know, where like you was really fighting. You was in the gym all the time. This was in your younger days or whatever. Now you older or whatever. But you know, you was really making progress. You was doing big things, man. And then here come the attacks from the enemy, right? Here come the problems, right? Here come the unforeseen things that you never saw coming. The unexpected bills, the unexpected breakdowns on your vehicles or on things that you had, the unexpected expenses and stuff like that came. The unexpected weather phenomenon, which we already know they can do that too. These sorcerers and stuff, they can stir up the weather. We know they have weather weapons. We know they can do cloud seeding and stuff like that now. So they even use that against us as well, us chosen ones, you know. Now you know that. I mean, you know this stuff now, right? You didn't really know all that back then. But these are the things you learn, man. And this is the things that came up against you. And then many other things came up against you, you know, with your different hardships you had. You couldn't really keep a job because everybody on the jobs wherever you worked at was hating on you. And then they wasn't paying nothing anyway. And then so you struck out on your own. You figured that would be the solution. You thought, well, Nobody's hearing me. Nobody's like really paying me no attention. So I know what I'll do. I'll just start my own thing. I'll do my own thing, man. I'll go my own route. So in my case, I just put the music down and stuff like that for a while. I decided, well, you know, this is not being accepted. You saw you were rejected, chosen one, you know. So then you decided, well, I'm just gonna do what I can, man, but I still gotta do what I gotta do to survive out here. So in my case, personally, I started my landscaping thing. Then you had no idea what was gonna happen to you with all of that, because they knew you the whole time, man. So they was watching you with all of that. They was watching you. Every time you made a mistake, they was watching you. They knew you. This is the demonic realm, Ephesians 6:12, I'm telling you about. They knew you, they was watching you the whole time. They knew if you ever got strong enough or on your feet with enough, and you had enough to fund your ministry, your assignment, what you came to do, how strong of a threat you would be. They knew, so they came against you. They sent their minions against you to destroy your business, to destroy your livelihood, to try to bring you down to $0.00. This was all part of the attack. Like I said, chosen one, you never knew what you was getting yourself into, man. You never knew. You had no earthly idea the opposition that was going to come up against you when you started out on this, what you started out to do. But the whole time, when you first started out and you was young, you thought, I got this, man. I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to make this. I'm going to make these records. I'm going to do this. I'm going to name my ministry Christ Money. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to make this happen. And I'm going to do it the right way. You said, I'm going to do this the right way, man. I'm going 100. I'm going hard for the Lord, man. I'm going to do this the right way. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it done. Little did you know, man. Then he hit you with the temptations. You know, because we all know. We all know, men, what it's like out here, man. We all got hormones. We all manly. We all, you know, if you say you're not, and you act like you don't have feelings and desires for the opposite sex, and for, you know, that inside you, then something is wrong with you, or else you, and I know you're not like that, chosen one. So you got the temptations working against you too out here, man. Like I said, then you had to deny that flesh. Because you know nothing will get you into trouble faster. All you got to do is think back to what happened to Samson, right? With Delilah. All you got to do is think back to that, man. Because you know the word, chosen one. You know the word, man. And you already know a female can be just as dangerous as drugs, if not more dangerous. If she ain't the right one, if she ain't sent by him. So like I said, you had no idea what you was getting yourself into. You had no idea, chosen one. But you remember how it was back then, right? Now you remember, you think back about it today in hindsight, and you say, yeah, I feel that way again, but I already know, I know a lot more this time around than I did back then. And you recognize your enemy for the strength that it possesses. And you know that you have no other choice, chosen one. Even though you hate the devil and you can't stand his guts, especially for everything he did to you, you have to respect a powerful foe. You have to respect that foe, man, or else you'll get yourself hurt. This is the reason why I told you this battle we are in, it's a serious battle. You must put on the full armor. And you already know your enemy is very powerful, and he's looking for any crack in your armor, any way to seek an entry point from anyone or anything. And he will use anything at his disposal to do this, to throw you back off again from what you done fought so hard to come through, what you done fought your way out of, chosen one, what you done prayed your way out of. You already know this because you know the reason why is because you have experience now under your belt. That's what makes it different now. So now that you're back, you're stronger this time around because it's not your first rodeo. And so, like I said before in previous videos, now you got your guard up. You know, both hands. Just like a fighter, you're not gonna let somebody just come in and just take headshots on you. You're gonna guard your temples, the temple of your body, man. You're gonna guard everything, man. You're gonna guard your vitals, your heart, man. This time around is totally different, chosen one. But like I said though, and I'm about to go ahead and wrap it up on the video, because I don't want to make the video too awful long. You know, I just try to keep the videos to where I can upload them where it doesn't take too long. But I hope this helped you out today, chosen one, because you remember how it was back then when he first opened your eyes to all of this whole illusion, and you became aware to what it was, because the scales were removed from your eyes and you were able to see what so many others couldn't see. But you had no idea just how strong the opposition was going to be, and you had no idea. You thought you was just gonna shake everything up and change the world. It don't happen that easy. You know, it's not that easy. It takes effort. It takes discipline. It takes fortitude. It takes tenacity. It takes endurance. It takes being hit almost like by a Mack truck and then having to get back up again from that. Most people ain't gonna do it. Most people never will do it, and they can't. That's the reason why I said, chosen one, you are like none other. You are a diamond. And he put that strength in you. He did. The Most High put that strength in you. to bring you all this way to where you are today. Still standing, still marching, still getting it like the warrior you know you are, and he knows you are, and you can do it. You have to. Look at what's going on around you now. You see it clearly. And you see the prophecy unfolding right in front of your face. And there's no denying it. You already know, chosen one. Even the unbelievers can't even deny this stuff that's happening. Even the atheists can't deny it no more. It's undeniable. So anyway, chosen one, I'm just going to leave it with you right there, you know. You already know what it is. You know what you got to do. And you are a different animal this time around because you done learned. You done been through the learning curve. And you done been through the things that most others could have never made it through. And you survived. And that in and of itself is a miracle. So just remember that. And never give up, man. If you just came over here to my channel, you know, all we do over here on Antonicus Aurelius motivates. It's positive, vibrational, uplifting, encouraging videos for those of you who may be going through your own personal battles, struggles, hardships, or whatever it is you're facing in your own personal life. I feel you. I've been there. I know what it's like. So I'm here for you. If you just came over here also and you're the type of person who you're looking to improve yourself, to make yourself better than you were yesterday, you ready to move forward, I'm here for you as well. You're just trying to make yourself into the best version of yourself. And you're seeking the Most High. We also share the word over here, if y'all are into that, you know. So, and we share the truth. So, to each and every one of you who has already been with me over here doing this, I appreciate you. And if God puts it on your heart, go ahead. If you're new here, click the subscribe button. You know, hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time when I create new content. And all we do over here, like I said, is motivate one another. This is a motivational, uplifting channel for those of you who need that right now. And we know a lot of us do during these difficult times we're in. Out here just connecting with nature today. Love, light, peace, blessings to you all. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, man. Till then, peace.